All right, so you are dropping somebody off at night. They had a little bit too much to drink, and now they're passed out in your car. What should you do? Let's talk about it. Hey everyone, my name is Chris, and welcome to the Rideshare Guy. And today we're going to be talking about what happens when somebody's a little too drunk, gets in your car, passes out, and then you have to deal with trying to get them out of your car because the ride is now completed. But first, let's go over what we're going to be talking about when it comes to that. So yeah, we're going to talk about first why driving during the drunk hours isn't as bad as most people think. And then we're going to talk about, what happens in that scenario, what you should do, best practices, different things like that when it comes to dealing with drunk passengers who pass out in your car. So first off, let's talk about driving during drunk hours. Actually, it's not that bad. Most of my rides completed on Uber and Lyft have been during drunk hours, and there's many reasons for it. First off, I like the clientele. They're a lot more livelier. They're a lot more fun. There's a lot more going on. So there's a lot more different scenarios and fun that you get to overhear, see, participate in. There's a lot of crazy stuff that happens. Trust me. But when it comes down to the overall, it's much better. During the day, you have people that are to and from different places, and they're not necessarily going to have fun because they have to go to work. They have to go to places they may not want to go. They may have to go to doctor's offices and appointments and things like that. So it may not be as good as going out and having fun with friends, looking forward to that, going home. So that's one reason why I enjoy nighttime driving over anything else. Then on top of that, also, usually it's busier because there are less drivers on the road at that time. Depending on the time that you're out, 11 o'clock, there's still quite a few drivers. But here in Buffalo, our bars stay open until 4 a.m. You know what that means. There's a lot of opportunity for people to get out there, get drunk, and have fun. But a lot of drivers log off, go home, and don't do that late. So if you're out 2, 3, 4 in the morning and a little bit beyond that, that is the time where, there's going to be a lot of drunks, but there's a lot more potential for surge. And that means you are going to make more money. And if you couple that with events that are going on in your area, especially during the weekends, you can really get out there and make a ton of money in a shorter amount of time. So that is another perk to it. On top of that, for me, especially, there's a lot less traffic. I hate driving in traffic. I absolutely despise it. If there is a slowdown at all, I'm just irate. I don't like it. And nighttime driving doesn't have that. In fact, there's very few times, except for in the busy bar districts and streets. But if you've been driving for a while in your area, you should know how to maneuver through those areas with minimal amount of traffic, especially if you hate traffic like I do. So those are a few reasons why I love driving at night compared to during the day or, early morning, unless you're doing airport runs, which is a different story. Then at that point, yes, it is going to be much better for those few reasons. But as I said, if you are driving until 2 a.m. for a lot of areas where bars close, 4 a.m. for other areas where bars close, like Buffalo, that means there's going to be a lot more people who are going to have a lot more drinks, and that means they're going to be a little bit drunker, and there could be a little bit of problems at that point. All right, so what happens when a drunk gets in your car, had a little bit too much, and now they are completely passed out, oblivious to what's going on, and the ride has been completed because you're at the drop-off? So first off, the easiest thing to do is just try to wake them up. It's simple. Do what you can. Try to make loud sounds if, it's you stopped and they haven't woken up. You say their name a couple of times. Try to get a little louder. At that point, when they do wake up, usually they may be a little not sure what's going on. So they could be a little bit off-putting at first, but you should hopefully be a little bit away from them. Position yourself so you're a little away from the person, just in case something happens where they are completely oblivious, they wake up and they get violent. So that is something that you want to make sure you're positioned a little bit away so you're a little bit safer. Chances of that happening are very minimal, though. Always very minimal in these circumstances. It does happen, but it's minimal. So the easiest thing that you can try to do and hope for is make a little bit louder sounds, hope they get up, and then they come to and then get out of your car and everything's a-okay, because once they're out of the car, they shut the door. If they pass out in their front yard, that ain't on you, that's on them. So they got home safe, at least at your point. They're not getting behind the wheel. Nothing like that is happening, so that's fine. Now, what happens if you make loud sounds and they don't get up and they are being a little bit more problematic and nothing is fazing them? Well, maybe if you have a little stick or something, you could poke them. Poke them in the shoulder, poke them like in the arm. I wouldn't recommend touching them in any way, but like if you got something that is, able to kind of poke that at them and, try to get them awake. Hopefully at that point, again, same thing. They wake up, they get out of your car, ride's over, go on to the next one. But what happens when it's still a little bit further? You try poking them, you try slamming maybe on your brakes to get them going, say what's going on, you made the loud sounds, whatever it might be. At that point, they're still not waking up. They're still completely passed out. What are you going to do? At this point, this is where you may want to consider dialing 911 and telling them what's going on, because that could be an emergent situation forming, because you don't know how drunk they are. You don't know if it's at a toxic point. You don't know what's going on, and you still need to get out of there. Unfortunately, if you have to call the cops, that means you're going to have to wait for, usually EMTs to show up at that point, or the police. The police will do what they have to do, or an EMT. They will make sure that they are okay. They will make sure that they're not too drunk, that they're toxic or any issues like that. They will then proceed to get them out of your vehicle, maybe forcefully if they have to, at worst case, but at least you are not getting them out of the car. That is the biggest recommendation. Never touch a passenger in any way. Never get them out of your car by yourself. Allow that to be done by the police. Allow that to be done by EMTs in the event that is medically necessary and you had to call 911. Beyond that, in the event that something happens, you may want to stick around and make sure. You may have to give a statement to the police or anything like that during that event. But once you're cleared to go, at that point, you can go. Unfortunately, that will take some time, and you may be stuck there for a little bit, depending on what's going on. Now, again, this is an extremely rare circumstance when this happens. Most of the time, they may be passed out in your car, completely oblivious to what's going on. But when you stop, when you pull over, 99% of the time, they wake up and they get out of your car without any hassle or problems. Or you may have to say, hey, get out of my car, wake up, or whatever you got to say at a little bit louder of a voice just to get them awake. But with that being said, there are very rare circumstances. So in the event that you do have somebody that's completely passed out, oblivious to the world, and you do have to dial 911 to get them out of your car, at least you know the proper steps and the safest steps for you and your passenger. After all that is done, end the ride and create a report with Uber or Lyft, depending on the platform that you have just given the ride to, because you want to make sure that that is on record in the event something else happens beyond, at least that is in the system, that they were passed out drunk. You had to dial 911 to get them out of the car, and that report will be there. Sometimes you'll have a safety person call you or, have to, provide more details or information or anything like that. But usually that is handled very quickly within the Uber and Lyft system. So with that being said, you'll be able to go on to your next rides and complete them, hopefully with no problems and a little bit more livelihood with the people who are, having a good time, who haven't gone a little overboard. But I want to know, what are your thoughts? And have you had to deal with absolute, completely annihilated people that could not get out of your car, where you did have to dial 911 and have emergency services or police get them out of your car, and what happened? Put them in the comments below. Love to hear your stories, so we can help other drivers out there who may not have had that circumstance happen to them, but then find themselves in that circumstance in the near future. And speaking of people who get in your car who have been drinking, may create some smells in your car that you may not want, or your next passengers. So Not only that, Lyft is also talking about fragrance-free rides, which I made a video talking about that when it comes to what you should be doing in the event of too much smell when it happens in your car. So check that video out. Make sure you're subscribed. We'll see you in the next one.